Solid.
Sorry.
Solid. Welcome to This Gave Me Nightmares.
Alrighty, guys.
How's everybody doing?
Are we going?
We're going.
Okay. Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
Round two.
Round two. We were obviously so excited to get into the episode last week that we totally forgot to introduce ourselves.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I'm Shelby,
I'm Soraya.
and that might change. We might have to go into the witness program, witness protection program.
I was like, I don't think my name's changing, but that's a good point.
No, after last week, we might be in some
Yeah.
trouble. So
We found out some things, but we're pretty sure he's just a dumb idiot. So.
yeah, we're pretty sure he's just a dumb idiot. But if we go MIA,
Yeah, you know what happened.
yeah,
Rip to the pod.
rip to the pod, rip to us.
Yeah.
We will essentially be dead either way if it's real or
but
not.
that's not happening. We're not manifesting that.
No,
We're manifesting a long, happy life.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So first off, I just want to say that I really appreciate all of the love and support
Yeah.
and the feedback that we've gotten from the first episode. It's crazy. I didn't think that we were gonna get as many listens as we did.
No, it was insane. I was like, we were like at the gym the next morning, and we were like,
Yeah.
did you see how many views we got on YouTube?
Yeah.
It
Oh
was
my
crazy.
God. Check and see how many Spotify downloads
Yeah,
we have right
it was
now.
like, we got one more. We got one more person listening.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
But
It's
yeah.
exciting.
It's exciting.
It's cool. It's awesome to see all the
Yeah.
support from all of our hometown. It's been really cool, all the shares and stuff. So we're excited.
definitely. And like I said, we're really happy that we've been getting feedback from people.
Yeah.
It will help us be a better podcast. So
Mhm.
I really appreciate
Yeah.
all of that.
Super open to criticism. I mean,
Um,
be nice, but give us ideas.
Yeah, give us ideas. But I have to say, I am so obsessed with us. I honestly, I don't know how many times I've listened to the episode since we put it out.
It's kind of
Like,
bad.
when it finally gets on Google, I'm definitely going to listen to it again.
Mhm.
I listened to it in full 1.5 times just today.
Yeah, we were I had a doctor's appointment the other day, and we had to run up to Esky about an hour away, and we listened to our podcast basically the whole time.
Yeah.
Basically just roasting ourselves.
Truly.
Because
oh my
what
God,
the
we're
hell?
stupid.
Literally we watched it on YouTube together the
Yeah.
night that it posted, I believe, and we were like, every 10 seconds I'm like, why did I say that?
No, me too. Me too. My favorite part was people were asking me too after I watched it myself. Why did you say shooting up cocaine?
Yeah, we're like, I don't think you really shoot up cocaine.
No, I
but
don't know if you shoot up cocaine. But
we're not involved in cocaine. So
yeah, I don't know about it. I'm not a professional drug user.
I'm not a cocaine queen. So that's bad to say.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just went off what the article said.
Yeah.
Do you shoot up cocaine? I don't know.
I don't.
Personally.
But I mean, to each his own, I guess.
But, okay, so I also had some questions about, does Manistique really have that many drugs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then I was thinking about how when we were at the bar Friday night, and I came out of the bathroom, and the girl we went to high school with comes up to me, and she's like...
Stop talking.
I know. I'm putting this in.
Oh,
She comes up to me.
Oh,
She
no.
goes, do you have Percocet? And I was like,
The answer
no.
will always be no.
She asked if I was getting high in the bathroom. I was like, no. She's like, do you do speed? Do you have Percocet? Bitch, what?
Bitch, where? I do not know what that means.
No, I don't do narcotics.
No.
So,
PSA?
yeah, drugs
Yeah.
are rampant here.
Yeah.
So,
Is it rampant or is it rampant?
rampant.
Rampant?
Rampant.
I thought it was rampant with an I.
No, rampant. It's
Rampant.
It's like
Drugs are rampant.
if you're phonetically saying it, it's rampant.
Rampant. Okay, I love the
Rampant.
English language.
Rampant.
They're really smart.
That reminds me of when we were on our way back from Escanaba.
What?
Hey, what the fuck did you say?
I say weird things come into my mind.
Oh yeah, I remember now. You said Bo Rat.
I don't know.
Do you mean Borat?
I was like, Bo Rat, what do you mean? Like, why are you laughing at me? I don't understand. Apparently, I was putting the emphasis on Bo Rat instead of Borat.
Borat.
Yeah. So,
Borat.
yeah, I learned.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Also, I want to address, I know that I said that 40 was old.
Oh, did we say that?
I said 40 was old.
I mean, it's kind of true.
It's not that old, but like to a 25-year-old, being in your 40s is old
and
when
people,
you're dating.
like, used to only live till 30, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what I mean, guys. I need help. I say things sometimes, and I, like, shock myself. I'm like, did she just say that? And it was me.
It was her.
It was me.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow,
Yeah.
that rum chata is really coating the throat right now.
I know. Hopefully we don't get drunk like last time.
We will not. I need to apologize, you guys. Okay, listen. I was nervous. That beverage we were having, it is equivalent to 2 glasses of wine. I am a lightweight. I was unaware of how much it would affect me. Yeah. And you can tell halfway through when you're like, something's going on with Soraya.
Yeah, absolutely. She started loosening it up and not making full sentences.
Should I tell them how the ending?
Yeah.
You guys, at the end, but I was like, at the end of the day,
yeah,
you know how it goes. I was trying so hard to make a complete sentence. You have no idea.
It was rough. It was rough. I didn't notice it in the moment really as much, but then like watching and listening to it back, I was like,
she's just saying every textbook phrase, basically.
Right, just phrases that people like say to get from one thought to another without there being actual thoughts.
I was like, Shelby, please save me right now. I do not know what I'm saying.
Jesus Christ.
Oh boy. Well, I think we should get into it.
Okay.
I'm excited. I don't really know what's happening. I think Shelby's going to give us a little summary to start.
Yeah. So, right off the bat, I wanted to bookend this.
Sorry, you guys, if you hear Shelby's dog drinking water.
She goes, slop, 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 slop.
Tasty.
Tasty. I
the
love
flavors
this
on my
water.
tongue.
I love this water.
Anyways.
All right. So, I want to bookend this case with a couple of quotes.
Okay.
From a man named Geraldo. No, we like him.
Okay.
This is a good man. We like him. Okay. Geraldo Rivera. He is like one of the most professional and well thought out investigative journalists to ever exist. So we love him and we love the work that Geraldo does. Okay. A lot of this case comes from him, and one of his very first exposés in the 70s.
Oh, the 70s. Okay.
Yeah, so this is kind of an old case. So first off, here's our quote. The story of Willowbrook and of Letchworth Village is a story of degradation, a real-life horror story of lack of attention, of filth, and of children living as animals live. In uncivilized, inhuman existence.
So this one's about children.
This one's about kids.
Sad.
So, yeah, this case is more disturbing than it is scary.
It's like a real life nightmare.
Yeah, this is one of those things where it's just, it's going to make you feel physically ill. It's not like a jump scare thing. It's like,
how can you like do that?
Yeah, you just kind of want to vomit all over everything.
I don't love that. So
this all begins shortly after World War II ended in 1945. So after the war had ended, the economy in America was getting a lot better than it had been. I mean, right before the war, we were in the Great Depression. We go through the Depression. Factories start to become a lot more efficient. Everybody is really putting in the work for America's economy to get better. But unfortunately, that means that there's a population that's not involved in this. And that is the mentally and physically handicapped population.
Makes sense.
And able-bodied people can't be bothered.
Right. Well, and also, it's just not something you think of because it's not something you ever experienced. So it's like, why would I think, oh, that state park isn't, accessible for someone in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't ever, that's just not something you think of.
The world took off without them.
Right.
They were left behind and didn't have a place to go or anybody to take care of them because there were some of them that couldn't live on their own.
Mm-hmm.
So they were essentially getting left behind. All right. So in the late 1940s and the 1950s, these quote-unquote schools started popping up.
Why did you quote schools?
You'll see.
Okay.
You'll see.
These quote-unquote bathrooms.
They called them schools.
Okay.
But as we'll see, it's not a school.
Okay.
It's disgusting.
Did you guys hear that?
This is not an ASMR podcast. Just our TikTok.
Okay, go.
All right. So the school that we're going to be talking about is Willowbrook State School.
Okay.
And sometimes you'll hear it referred to as Willowbrook State Hospital, but legally it is a school. And it is located in Staten Island, New York.
Willowbrook is a good, rapper name.
Willowbrook. What? Willow Smith should have taken that.
Yeah, dumb idiot.
What a dumb bitch.
I want a frozen pizza.
Okay.
Text your parents.
They're not home. Should we just go start one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, BRB, guys.
Where was I?
The Willow Birch High School.
The Willowbrook State Hospital.
There we go.
No, the Willowbrook State School, also known sometimes as hospital.
Okay.
Okay. So the Willowbrook State School opened in opened in October of 1947, just as a place to put mentally, and I need to eat some food, mentally and physically handicapped kids, because like I said, the rest of the population in America at this time could not be bothered.
So was this started and opened by the federal government, or was it private?
Yeah, so the state government started this.
Gotcha.
And they started out with 20 patients. Mm-hmm. By 1950, so just 3 years later, it reaches max occupancy with 4,000 patients.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And so they stayed there 24/7. This is where they lived.
Mm-hmm.
And most patients and staffs...
Girl. Are you okay?
No.
Never. Am I ever okay? What kind of question is that?
I'm never okay. I am manic all the time.
All the time.
Okay. Okay, so in 1950, when Willowbrook State School had reached its max occupancy of 4,000 patients, most of the patients and the staff had become infected with hepatitis through unsanitary drinking water.
Oh, wow. So what even is hepatitis? I know we get the shot, but what is
it? Technically, it's inflammation of the liver.
Okay, what does that mean, though?
It's a viral disease. Pretty much your liver and metabolic capacities start to diminish.
Do you heal, or is it you get and you die?
You don't necessarily die, but
it's not good.
It's not. You don't want it.
Yeah.
You don't want it. And there are different versions.
Right.
There's different strains of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah. So I guess it all just depends on which one you have. I don't know.
So
they
all got hepatitis.
Yeah, pretty much everybody has a hepatitis that's working there or living there at this point. In 1955, so 5 years later, there's this doctor that's working through New York University at Willowbrook State School. Like I said, it's in Staten Island, so he's right there. His name is Dr. Saul Krugman. I don't know what the fuck kind of name is
Krugman.
that. He, in 1955, began deliberately infecting Willowbrook
Oh my god. Oh my god, trigger warning. We have to cut that. They're going to hurt their ears. Shelby, last podcast, I got to really make sure not to scream in the mic.
And what do I do?
So this doctor began purposely infecting these kids with hepatitis?
With hepatitis.
Okay.
And it's really gross because what he used to do was he would take the feces from the people he knew were infected with hepatitis, extract it, and then he would put it in the food and the beverages of other patients who he suspected didn't have hepatitis yet. Sometimes he did inject them, but this was all entirely, obviously, without their consent and without the consent of the parents, because in his head, he thought he, in a sense, was doing a good thing, and he thought that he was essentially creating a vaccine.
He's like, if everyone gets it, then they'll be immune to it.
Yeah.
That's really smart. He's a really smart guy. I like him. I'm kidding, everyone.
Later in 1960, there was a measles outbreak that killed 60 patients.
Oh, wow.
So at this point, we're seeing that it is not sanitary.
No, they're not being taken care of there.
Yeah. Everybody, not everybody, but most people have hepatitis. For the people who don't have hepatitis, this Dr. Krugman guy is purposely feeding them shit with hepatitis to give them hepatitis because he thinks that'll be a vaccine.
Yeah, okay.
And then we have a measles outbreak.
Okay.
So it's deteriorating.
Yeah.
And it's deteriorating quickly.
Where's, like, the state government checking in on these people?
Right.
Yeah.
That's, everybody's like,
what's happening?
Where are you? Please help. In 1965, Robert Kennedy Jr., who was a senator at the time, visited Willowbrook State School.
Okay.
Because there had obviously been some public outrage about how disgusting the facilities were, and he was like, I got to see it for myself so I can see what I need to do about it.
Well, good.
Yeah, so he visits, and he has an interview afterwards with the media, and he publicly expresses how the conditions are deplorable, and he says, quote, there's very little future for these children or for those who are in these institutions. I think it's long overdue that somebody do something about it.
Oh, wow, good.
And then he called it a snake pit because all of the children were just kind of thrown into one area and left to be together in a pit type situation. Like, it's gross.
Ew.
I'll get more specific about that later.
Okay. There's like a hole.
There's a whole thing.
I meant like there's a hole.
Oh, no, I mean...
They're not throwing the kids into a pit.
There's not an actual pit.
Okay. It's just like figuratively.
Figuratively, it's a pit.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm too literal.
Sometimes y'all.
Shelby had this great idea that we were going to do ASMR with like setting up our podcast equipment. And I was like, she goes, do you know those like ASMR skincare videos? Like we should do something like that for the podcast. And I was like, ooh, that's a good idea. Should I like bring my face wash and stuff next time? And she goes,
this dumb bitch.
What are you talking about? We're doing it for the podcast. And I was like, I thought you meant we were going to like wash our faces live.
Okay, so then she gets here and I'm trying to get her to make this fucking TikTok. And I'm like, okay, I was waiting for you to get here so I could set up. And so, like, when I click things on, things are going to make that, like, really satisfying click noise.
Click. Yeah.
And she's just, like, sitting there on her phone. And I'm like, are you going to do this? And she goes, well, where is it going to go into the podcast? I was like, it's not, bitch. It's going in
there was a level of miscommunication. Sometimes it takes me a minute.
It's okay. We got there, though. Hopefully you saw the TikTok.
Right here,
TikTok.
Follow us on TikTok. So there's no snake pit, everyone. Just to clarify.
There's not an actual pit, and there are no snakes on the premises. Okay.
There's probably some snakes, but
there could be. I guess I can't say that for sure. I have no evidence of snakes.
Okay.
All right.
So Robert Kennedy, is his name Robert?
Robert.
Yeah. He's like, let's change something.
Yeah. He makes this big to-do about... this is disgusting. Kids should not be living in this situation. We need to do something about it as state officials.
Right. Okay, good.
Okay. 4 years later, in 1969, Willowbrook reached its peak. And remember, we already reached the max of 4,000.
Now we're over capacity?
Now we're over capacity. They kept taking patients. So 1969, Willowbrook reaches its peak with 6,200 patients.
Where are they putting these kids at?
Exactly.
Thank you, Lord.
I'm afraid. Don't say anything religious in front of the Ouija board.
Don't say that to me. Don't say that to me.
No, listen.
No,
okay.
I don't want to hear it.
Okay, you guys.
I literally don't want to hear it.
Okay, so the first night that I had this Ouija tapestry hung up, I have to tell you this story. So
No.
I
don't want it.
Okay, to preface this, Soraya absolutely hates that I got a Ouija
scared.
tapestry, and I really want to get a tattoo of a planchette, and she's not about it. She keeps saying no, I'm not allowed to get it. And okay, so the first night that I had this tapestry hung up, I had gin that night.
Oh no.
And we know what gin does to my dreams. Okay, every time I drink gin, I have the weirdest
It's bad.
fucking dreams. Terrifying. So I was thinking about having this up. I was drunk on gin. I go to bed. My dream. Okay, so what happened was I woke up, like in my dream, I woke up. Ghosts had broken into my house, like how an actual human would. So there were, like a ghost broke in. But instead of just like coming in like a ghost does, there was like broken shit. Everything was in disarray. The windows and the doors were broken out. And it was
That's
a ghost.
weird.
Oh my God, did you see the candle
Stop.
flicker when I said that?
Fucking stop. No, I'm not playing this game right now. Don't. I'm not messing around.
But
Don't
then
do
I
this
like
to me.
half woke up after that happened, and I was like, I gotta check the Amazon reviews on this tapestry and see if anybody else is experiencing this.
Oh my God.
Okay, so long story short, Shelby's not allowed to have gin because I have
It's scary.
unexplainable dreams.
Yeah, Tanqueray only.
Tanqueray only. No more beef eater.
No more beef eater.
Ugh.
I love eating beef. I love the beef in my mouth.
No, you don't.
That's a lie. I'm mostly vegetarian. So.
True.
Okay.
True.
So where were we?
Where actually?
Literally no idea where we were.
Literally. Okay, so I have absolutely no idea where we are
Where is Sammy?
when we left off.
Never know. That's like when you listen to someone else speak another language you can't understand. I don't even know. It's nice.
It's like Sims.
I never did that.
What? You never played Sims?
No.
Okay, I had it on my Nintendo DS,
Oh, classic.
and I had the pet one where you could be a veterinarian.
Oh.
So like it was all about pets. And,
that.
like, you could buy an x-ray and, like, take care of other people's pets in your house.
I love that.
It was really wholesome. And then I
Cute.
always had to make sure I turned the radio on, like, a rock station. Of course, you never understood what it was saying, but the beat was good.
I love that. Okay.
Okay.
What is happening?
What is
You're ready to rock.
Rock! I'm a goofy goober! Rock!
Oh, my God.
As we go through this, I want everybody to remember that this is the 60s and the 70s and a little bit of the 80s that we're talking about. Maybe it's not going to be politically correct.
Oh, okay, right.
Okay, so quote, these are not my words. This is a quote from an article at the time in the 70s. The Willowbrook State School is the country's largest home for the mentally retarded. So out of all of America, Willowbrook State School had the most patients.
Okay.
So in January 1972, this expose airs. And this expose is the inspiration for the Asylum season of American Horror Story. And if you watch it on YouTube, you will see why if you've seen the Asylum season, because a lot of the footage is very eerie, like they try to like recreate in the show. It's disturbing.
Right.
You can watch it on YouTube, and I was kind of afraid to watch it. I kept the remote in my hand the whole time ready to just, like, back out of it at any moment because I was like...
Who knows what you're going to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I never will, so... We're good here.
No, thank you. Okay. In 1971, Geraldo Rivera is just beginning his career, but he gets a phone call from a Dr. Michael Wilkins. At this point, he had literally just gotten fired that day from Willowbrook State School because he was trying to get parents of the children to kind of band together and ask for better conditions for their kids.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so he was doing a good thing.
And they got rid of him for it.
Yeah, and Willowbrook State School was like, we're not having that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he's fired. And he's like, that's fucked. I'm going to get you back.
Right.
So he calls Geraldo and he's like, have I got a story for you?
Oh, wow.
So Geraldo's like, shit, I'm in. Let's do it.
Right.
Let's put them on blast. So Geraldo shows up with Dr. Wilkins unannounced to Willowbrook State School. They didn't say that they were coming. And
so they're going to get the real story. It's not like they're like prepping them so they have time to clean stuff up.
Right, because what had happened was Dr. Wilkins didn't do it on purpose, but I'm glad that it worked out this way. He forgot to turn in his key when he was fired.
Oh, well, perfect.
Right? So he still had his key, so they snuck in the back door of one of the facilities on campus. And when they walk in, and you see this happening on that YouTube video, and there are just children all over the floor of this building.
It's not like they have beds and stuff.
There are no beds. They don't even have clothes.
What?
Yeah, they're naked. There's no, like, central lighting for them to do anything. There are no activities. They're literally not doing anything but just sitting on the floor keeping to themselves.
Who is, like, working for this company that's just,
It's
like,
the state.
okay?
It's the state.
But you think, like, some other workers would stand up
No.
first. Wow.
No, they don't give a fuck, apparently. So there was about one attendant to every 50 to 60 children.
Oh my gosh, that's
so
a
they're
lot.
severely outnumbered because remember,
Sorry, when you say outnumbered, I feel like the children are gonna like
the children
gang up,
are gonna uprise.
The children are gonna overtake the
and
school.
take home. That would have been a better story.
That's true.
That would have been a more harrowing story. Geraldo says this then in the video. Quote, "This is what it looked like. This is what it sounded like. But how can I tell you of the way it smelled? It smelled of filth, it smelled of disease, and it smelled of death."
Oh my god, I can't even imagine.
And yeah, just think about that for a second. He's saying this about a school.
Right.
That's where those air quotes come in for
right.
school.
Yeah, no, it makes
He's
sense.
saying this about a school where mentally and physically disabled children are living.
Oh, I don't even know what to say. That's crazy.
The sound in the video as you watch it is so disturbing. The whole time there's like this ominous howl
What?
that's just kind of resonating in the background over
like kids
everything.
just crying?
It's just the kids crying and moaning and screaming and making noises because they are not in a situation where they can like thrive.
Right, exactly.
And, like,
they can't help it.
communicate.
Yeah.
Most of them were severely underweight. They were contorting in like these weird, unusual positions on the floor. Like there was one point where this child was sitting on the floor in like a butterfly position kind of, but their head was like tucked all the way down in between their legs. Not like flat like you would bend over and expect. Like imagine you're in the butterfly position with your feet together, but your head comes straight down and the rest of your body stays up.
Ew.
Yeah. It was unnatural.
Yeah.
Unnatural.
How do these people that are working there just continue? Like, how do you not be like, I can't do this? What the hell is going on here?
Right. And that's like what Dr. Wilkins was trying to do.
Right.
Like, this is fucked. Please, you need to reach out to someone and ask for
like
help.
The president
if you band
was already
together.
there. Why is the president
The senator?
He's a senator at this
He's
time.
a senator, yeah.
Someone far up you know, was there, you think they'd get their act together, but I guess not.
And he obviously didn't do anything to change anything.
Yeah, he's
because now we're in 1971, and he had visited in 1965 and didn't do anything. He had that one interview right after he showed up, and then he kind of like,
what's next, right?
Yeah, it didn't. He just moved on.
Forget about it.
Yeah, and they were all like very obviously antisocial. Like when Geraldo and Dr. Wilkins and the film crew walked through, it was almost as if the children didn't even notice they were there.
Right.
They were doing their own thing. And, like, Geraldo would, like, try to, like, talk to a child sometimes. And sometimes they would respond when spoken to. But sometimes they wouldn't. They were mostly just...
Like, they had no idea how to interact.
They were physically present, not mentally. Like, they were not taught social cues.
Especially if they go there young.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, too... The children, most of them had experienced either physical or sexual abuse or both, not only from the staff, but from each other.
Oh my God.
Because again, they don't understand
what's okay and not okay.
Right. They're just kind of left to their own devices, and nobody's telling them what's right or wrong. And they're learning it from the staff, too. I'm sure.
Right.
You know, usually when you're abused, you repeat those behaviors. I'm not a psychologist.
Right.
But... So Dr. Wilkins says the children were obviously not receiving an education.
No.
So
they're literally just laying on the ground, like left to die, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Naked.
Yeah.
They were not being talked to by anyone, so they are not getting any attention like a normal human being needs. And since they shared a small space that does not get cleaned, 100% of the patients at Willowbrook contracted hepatitis within 6 months of being there.
Oh my gosh. Remember, there's like 6,000 kids right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And most of them contracted parasites at some point.
And that's only the physical stuff. Like
that's only the physical
stuff.
The
mental traumas that they had to endure.
So patients often experience physical trauma from each other because they either fought for attention from the attendants, or the attendants would leave them with like one thing to play with for so many kids, and they would fight over this toy or a fucking crumpled up piece of paper.
Right.
Like anything that was not
any
a concrete
stimulus.
Floor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything they could get their hands on.
The nerve to call it a school.
Exactly. New York State funding was just enough to call it a school. So, remember, that all just happened, not known by Willowbrook.
Oh, right. The doctor just went in there.
Yeah.
Or the journalist.
Both of them together.
Right.
Yeah. So, Dr. Wilkins and Geraldo and the film crew go in unannounced, and they gather all of this information.
Yikes. They got something coming for them.
Woof. 2 days later, Geraldo calls up Willowbrook. He says, "Can I visit? Can I see what's going on at your school? I really want to know."
Is that how he sounds?
Hey. Hey, girl. Hey. What's up? I'm going to stop by real soon.
It's Geraldo.
Hey, girl. It's Geraldo.
Let me get a tour.
Yeah. Geraldo says,
"Hey, new school tour check."
Ooh, I need to know. Okay. So they were like, "Yes. Come on down."
They said that?
Yeah, they said, "Come visit. Come check us out.
Come in."
They said, "Go check us out. You're going to love you."
Oh,
okay.
my God.
So he shows up with the film crew. With the
film crew.
So he shows up with the film crew.
He shows up. He shows up with the film crew. And then go take a look around. That's my Bo Rat impression. What do they see this time?
This time, magically, the kids
are clothed.
Wearing clothes.
They're wearing clothes this time.
Holy fucking shit. They're wearing clothes. There are enough attendants to take care of each of the kids. They're all getting proper attention. They're clean. They're not rolling around in their own feces.
That's definitely a step up.
What? Interesting. He was like, "Wow, this is really nice."
It is really nice.
This is really nice. I'm suspicious.
Okay.
So he was like, they're fucking lying to me right now.
Thanks so much for your time.
He's like, wow, this is really nice. Okay,
Bye.
bye. The next day, Geraldo sneaks in again.
He still has that doctor's key.
He still has the key.
Okay.
So he snucks back in the next day. He sneaks back in the next day. Through the back door.
Someone help me.
Listen, we need to go to therapy.
I'm fine.
No.
Everything is fine over here.
No.
BetterHelp sponsor us.
BetterHelp, please. You better help us.
You better help this
Because
things are unwell.
I'm not okay. I have weird dreams when I drink gin. I feel like that's something I need to talk about with somebody, and also I'm depressed.
Number one, I have weird dreams.
Zin's
number
one of those
one,
things to Zin.
I have weird dreams when I drink gin. Also, I'm depressed or whatever.
Just like a quick side note, if you don't mind, like putting this at the bottom of the page as you're writing things down about me,
Crippling depression.
I'm depressed. I was thinking about when you replied to my Snap story earlier about how like my vibe is always just like
Yeah.
a little crazy.
Yeah.
I can't be normal. I'm definitely chaotic good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they sneak back in the next day. And everything's right back to the way it was when he came in before.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the kids that they had clothed the previous day still had their clothes left over, but they were back to not getting attention, and they obviously hadn't been cleaned since then.
Right. Gross. Yeah.
Between the years of 1970 and 1971, when Geraldo's visiting here, the Department of Mental Hygiene in New York State put a hiring freeze on all of their state-funded schools due to economic troubles, they had said. So at that time, Willowbrook lost 900 employees.
Oh my gosh.
In 2 years' time.
That's a lot.
The patient-to-attendant ratio is supposed to be 4-1. After the cut, it had gone down to 30 to 40 patients for each attendant. 60% of the patients at this time were not toilet trained, and 64% of them could not feed themselves. So that's why we have kids who are malnourished,
right,
and feces all over the place.
It's really sad.
Yeah, this is a depressing one. The average feeding time for each patient is supposed to be somewhere between 25 and 30 minutes, and it got cut down to 2 to 3 minutes per patient. Each patient had 2 to 3 minutes to eat their meal.
What?
Yeah, because they didn't have enough attendance.
The state
to help
made
them
this
eat.
rule?
Well, they just didn't have enough people. The kids were literally just given this gross mush stuff. I couldn't even make out what it was in the video. It was disgusting. The attendants would just take like a giant spoon and like slop it into their mouth. Dr. Wilkins says this is what leads to a higher rate of pneumonia, because you're force feeding these people and they're starting to inhale.
Oh my god, because it's so
their
fast,
food.
right?
Yeah.
Gross.
Which in turn obviously leads to a greater rate of death. Nearby, in Rockland County, New York, there's a place called Letchworth Village Rehabilitation Center. It's essentially the same thing as Willowbrook. So Geraldo wants to check it out because he hears that Congressman Mario Biaggi is going to have a visit at 10 a.m. But Geraldo Rivera knows what the fuck is up. So he shows up 2 hours earlier. He shows up at 8 a.m. to Letchworth before Congressman Biaggi gets there. Biaggi or Biaggi, I don't know. I'm going to go with Biaggi, so get off my back.
It's probably not Biaggi.
Do you think it's Biaggi?
Yeah. I feel like that's more Italian.
Mario Biaggi.
Biaggi just sounds like whitewashed. It's like George when it's actually Jorge.
Biaggi. Okay.
Did I make any sense there?
Yeah. So Geraldo gets there 2 hours before Congressman Biaggi does, because he knew they were going to do something sketch.
They're going to switch it up before.
Within an hour of the official tour starting, there comes in these giant bins full of fresh, clean clothes for the kids to wear. Because just like Willowbrook, these kids were naked
Right.
and in their own filth. So attendants start rolling in these big laundry baskets full of clothes for the kids to put on. And they started trying to wipe down all of the feces that was on the walls and the bathrooms, on the floor. But you can't get rid of the smell.
This is so crazy. Just the fact that they're so aware, like, okay, these kids are living in total disgust, and then someone's going to come, let's make it all pretty and clean for an hour, and then screw those kids, let's go back to nasty.
And it's disturbing because we know this is a state-funded program.
Right.
So, like, when the state comes and tries to fix it, and then the facilities start to cover it up, like, be honest.
Yeah, so they can
so
help
it can
you.
get better.
Yeah.
Because you trying to hide it, they're just la-di-da-fucking-da, I'm
Yeah.
going to move on.
It's like they're trying to keep it like that.
The head attendant tells Biaggi that some days they have 4 to 5 attendants per 100 patients, which again is not the recommended
Which
ratio.
is not good.
Biaggi says, these are the worst conditions I've ever seen in my life. And remember, around this time, we're in 71, so this guy's a war man. He's been around, he's been to prisons all over the country. He's seen some shit.
And that's after they kind of clean it up a little bit too.
Because like I said, you still can't get rid of the smell.
Right.
At Letchworth, some of the patients there actually were physically and mentally capable of holding a job outside of the facility. Instead, they're kept inside the facility to make up for understaffing.
So they start working there.
So they start working there for themselves, and they're paid $2 per week. Whereas if they would have been able to get a job on the outside in the real world, they would have been making about $2 per hour.
How can, like, $2 per week is literally nothing, though. Like, just give them
Exactly.
nothing if you're going to give them $2.
The good news is, though, at this point, Geraldo's making waves with this investigation.
Oh, right. He's getting all this evidence and good.
So 8 days after the start of the investigation, Governor Rockefeller restored $20 million to the Department of Mental Hygiene after some, serious public outcry from the citizens of Staten Island and Rockland County concerning the conditions at Willowbrook and Letchworth. And Willowbrook was actually able to restore 300 employees.
Oh, good.
So it's good that they're getting more employees, but that's still only a third of what they had lost.
Right. They're trying, but let's do more.
Later on, Geraldo has a one-on-one interview with Dr. Alan Miller, who is the commissioner of the Department of Mental Hygiene at this time in the state of New York. And Dr. Alan Miller says, if you come back in 2 weeks, and then you come back in another 2 weeks, each time you come back, you're going to see some real progress. I think that we're actually going to really start to make a change, especially with this budget restoration.
Good.
We know Geraldo. He's going to take him up on that.
Right. He's like, well, I'll be
He's
here.
like, okay, see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Geraldo shows up. He said, there's no change. There's absolutely no change. He could not notice a difference. His actual words were, I found no meaningful change in the quality of life for the 5,230 people who live here.
It's so discouraging when you get these people and government say, we're giving them lots of money, lots of things are going to happen that are good for these people. And then it's just like the next day it's like, what? You're not doing anything. You're just saying a whole lot of stuff. Okay.
It honestly just pisses me off. Like, the more I think about it, I know that this isn't like a normal case that we are going to do often. I just really was interested in it when I first heard about it because I was like, how can you treat humans like this? Like, I know this isn't like a jump scare murder case, but like humans' lives are in danger at this point.
And children's at that are,
incapable of taking care of themselves for the most part.
Yeah, and that's just like the worst kind.
He had heard of this man named Dr. Richard Koch in Los Angeles. And Dr. Richard Koch here is like, come on over to LA. I'm going to show you that it doesn't have to be like that.
Oh, okay, good.
He had this amazing facility. There were enough attendants there. It was clean. It was sanitary. All of the kids were getting some sort of stimulation and love and human connection that they need. But he did say it wasn't always like that. In 1965, California was a lot like New York.
But it just shows that you can change and get better.
But you can change. Yeah, someone from Europe, and I didn't find a name, but he said someone from Europe actually had come over and was visiting and was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? This ain't it.
And they helped him. They helped them implement the changes.
Yeah, so what they started to do was they started to make the facility smaller, and they will only take kids for 5 days at a time. They will not take your kid indefinitely.
Oh, right, to live there. Yeah.
Right. So their focus was giving the kids tools and giving the parents tools in order to live a happy and successful life. Once they reached 18 and weren't with their parents anymore and reached an age where they didn't go to school anymore, this hospital in LA would actually hold like workshops for this population in order to help them like figure out how to like get jobs and get
how to integrate.
Yeah. So LA's making strides.
Yeah, we need to get these New York guys over there.
2 months after the expose aired, so we're now in March 1972, there was a class action lawsuit filed against Willowbrook by the residents of Staten Island.
Good.
In 1975, I don't know why it took 3 years, but I guess I don't understand how the wheels of
things,
laws,
the legal process takes a long time.
Yeah, I don't understand. I'm not a lawyer. I hardly know how to do a podcast. So, in 1975, New York State agrees to move Willowbrook into smaller group homes throughout the state of New York.
Good.
After a settlement with the New York Civil Liberties Union and the Legal Aid Society. So they kind of start to take after California in making facilities smaller so there's more one-on-one time.
Yeah, it seems like good steps to take.
Which is great because this led to legislation such as the Protection and Advocacy System of the Developmental Disabilities Assistance and Bill of Rights Act of 1975.
Oh that's a long one.
It also led to the Education for All Handicapped Children Act of 1975 and the Civil Rights Act of the Institutionalized Persons Act of 1980.
Nice.
With that, in 1987, Willowbrook officially closed.
Yay!
Willowbrook's not a school anymore, as if it ever was.
And they burned it to the ground.
No.
Just kidding.
So in 1993, a New York judge approved a settlement in that former patients of Willowbrook had a right to protection of harm and access to high-quality services.
I mean, yes, we knew that guy. Come on. He's like, let's just say it, though.
Yeah, he's like, we need to make it official. Like, DTR.
What's DTR?
Define the relationship.
What? I've never heard that before.
Really?
Yeah.
What did I hear that on? Some TV show? So, we thought that would be the end of it. Willowbrook closes its doors.
Closing, we're splitting it out into smaller homes. Laws are being put into effect. All good things. Until.
In 2014, a woman received an anonymous letter about the living conditions at a group home where her sister was living. This group home was called Union Avenue. Apparently, a lot of the residents were starting to get suspicious shaped bruising, like in the shape of footprints and handprints. Yeah, they are not getting the high quality services and protection of harm like they were promised.
Which, is sadly common in group homes.
So the woman that received this anonymous letter, her sister used to live at Willowbrook.
So she's having flashbacks like, oh, shoot.
Mm-hmm. Her sister had suffered from constant seizures as a baby and a toddler, so that stunted her mental growth.
Mm-hmm.
And in this letter, the whistleblower said that they were hitting her, pulling her hair, refusing to feed her.
Even in this small group home.
Mm-hmm. This same letter, they found out, was also sent to 2 other families of people who had loved ones living in Union Avenue, and they were also former residents of Willowbrook when they were kids, right? Because remember, we're in 2014 right now.
Yeah.
So back in the 80s, the 70s, they were living in Willowbrook. So it turns out that this letter is actually also sent to a New York State official.
Good.
So it's brought to federal court in Manhattan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They're like, we're not fucking around.
Yeah, they're like, no longer.
Over it.
Yeah.
We start to see pictures show up in actual physical evidence of bruises. One of the women who were living there had bruises on her breasts, buttocks, and stomach, all in the shape of shoe prints. So she was like getting stepped on or kicked or something like that. She had started living at Willowbrook when she was 8 years old in 1964.
That's sad. So, yeah, this is like all she knows, basically.
After an investigation, obviously we have this evidence and we have whistleblowers. It was found that the allegations of abuse against 13 employees at Union Avenue were substantiated.
Which is sad, but it's also good that they had it so they can go in and do something about it. Right.
However, they have a really strong workers' union. So the employees that they confirmed were abusing the residents could not be fired.
How does that make any sense?
I don't. Apparently, there are 2 different investigations that need to happen.
Okay.
There's the legal one, and then there's an internal one. The internal one says, I'm not going to do anything about it, so the legal one can't do anything about it. The state can't do anything about it.
Pathetic. These loopholes. So frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah, this one is more a nightmare of the government than anything else.
Right.
Those people don't work at Union Ave anymore, but they still work at group homes in the area. So they're still around.
How is this even allowed?
Yeah. And remember, we're in 2014 now.
Yeah.
Like, this is recent.
How are they not doing, like, background checks to check and be like, these people are taking care of children. Like, they need to be, like, good.
Adults now. These are adults they're taking care of.
Right. That's disgusting.
So they were not charged by the district attorney in the Bronx because the internal investigation wouldn't support them. The victims couldn't advocate for themselves. And the whistleblowers refused to testify because they didn't want to lose their jobs.
That's so frustrating. You're like, just do it, but, you know, you have to think of themselves.
Right. So we have all this evidence of abuse, and nothing's done.
And nothing's happening.
Again, are we surprised?
Oh, it's like a broken record.
Yeah, it truly is.
Especially when it comes to, like, the foster care and, like, group home situations when it's just like, when is something going to actually change? And, like, there's, like, systems in place, or at least there should be, right? Where, like, they get, like, checkups every couple months or whatever to make sure, like, everything's okay. But, like, things are so easily swept under the rug, it seems.
Right.
That nothing's actually being done to help these people in these situations.
And like you said, there's just so many loopholes.
Right. Legals.
They're doing whatever they can to just do whatever the fuck they want without having to actually follow the law.
To get away with it.
Yeah. Union Avenue makes a settlement with the family for $6 million. So there are 3 different families involved here for 3 different residents. And so they're each given $2 million.
You know, it's like, okay, cool, they're giving some money, but, like, that only, okay, one, that doesn't help any of the trauma that they've experienced from these people hurting them, and 2, there's so many kids that need help, that need these bad people out of the systems. That's not helping any of them either. It's just like, here's some money, but we're going to keep doing what we're doing. So it's like, what is that even helping?
Exactly.
Money doesn't help those kinds of situations.
No.
Ugh, that's so infuriating.
Since then, though, thankfully, the state of New York has agreed to give it up, and they sold it to a private company. And from what I can tell, Union Ave is no longer run by the state of New York. So from what I can tell, they're doing a lot better now with this private company, and residents are actually being taken care of.
Well, is this the end? Do we have a happy ending?
No.
I have a feeling this is going to become a pattern.
In 2019, there were 97 allegations of physical abuse towards the former residents of group home workers in the state of New York, 34 allegations of psychological abuse, and hundreds more of neglect, like other mistreatment, medication errors, and theft, and improper use of restraints or seclusion. So they're not being fed. They're getting tied down to things when they shouldn't be. They're getting locked in rooms when they shouldn't be.
And the effect that has on your brain.
As of 2020, 2,300 of the previous residents of Willowbrook still experience mistreatment.
They're in homes still?
They're in homes. They are physically beaten. They have black eyes. They have bruises. Again, there's just general negligence.
And it's like, where is the help for these people?
Right.
They've been through enough.
In 2017, a 69-year-old man suffered second-degree burns after being left in a shower that was too hot.
Oh my God, second degree?
Mm-hmm. And remember, we're still talking about people who lived at Willowbrook.
Right. It's just
So
like more.
it's lifelong.
Yeah.
It's lifelong abuse.
Yeah.
In 2019, a 56-year-old woman had to have part of her finger amputated because the group home attendant didn't make sure her hands were in her lap before she began pushing her in her wheelchair, and her finger got caught in the spokes of the wheel.
Ooh. Ow.
Yeah, so basically took her finger right off.
Yeah. Oh my God, ow.
That one's one of those where it, like, I feel it in my arm and it, like, makes my shoulder numb.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm, like, feeling it in my own body.
It's just so gross.
And then in 2020, a 58-year-old woman with a history of asthma and seizures was found dead in her bed in a Brooklyn group home after the employee failed to check on her every 15 minutes as ordered by the doctor. It's not over.
No.
These residents of Willowbrook are still alive and still in group homes and still being mistreated.
And that's the thing, you can't even say, like, it's just like a one-off situation when it's so prevalent.
Right. That's all that we have for the residents of Willowbrook. But our story's not over.
Okay.
So there's this man. His name is Andre Rand.
Andre Rand, okay.
He was a former custodian at Willowbrook in the 60s.
Okay.
He had previously been in jail for kidnapping.
That's nice.
After Willowbrook had been shut down, a body was found on Willowbrook property in a shallow grave, so in 1987.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little girl's body. Her name was Jennifer Schweiger. She was a 12-year-old with Down syndrome. He was charged with her murder and found guilty. Later, in 2004, he was also found guilty of kidnapping Holly Ann Hughes, who had gone missing in 1981 when she was 7 years old.
So as he was working there, he was doing these things, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's preying on these poor children who are already in terrible living situations. Holly Ann Hughes, her body was never found, though, but
I mean, what else could have happened?
we can assume. He will become eligible for parole in 2037 when he's 93. So the good news is he's never going to be out. But
Right.
you might be familiar with that if you've ever seen the quote-unquote documentary on Netflix, Cropsey. So Willowbrook has a big place in pop culture between Cropsey and American Horror Story Asylum.
Oh, right, yeah.
Additionally, the buildings, I should say, are currently being used as part of the College of Staten Island.
What?
Yeah. People
my
go to
God.
fucking class in these buildings.
I would never.
So that's where we get into some ghost stories.
No, thank you. I'll go home now. Just kidding, because I locked my door with the keys inside.
You guys, this dumb bitch.
So now I'm stuck at Shelby's forever. It's just such a habit to lock the door, but then I was like, I don't want to take my keys in. So we're hoping her dad can open it for me otherwise.
Yeah, let's hope that Brody can...
Don't really want to call the cops out here.
No, I don't want you to call the cops
I've
out here either.
had to do that multiple times when I've done this in the past. So
Right.
this is not new for me.
So I texted my dad. I said, will you break into Soraya's car to unlock it for her since she left her keys inside? And he texted me back. He says, yeah, we can wait until it's dark outside so it's scarier.
He said that?
He said that.
That is seriously rude, and I don't like him. Well, I'm sitting inside. He can sit outside in the dark scary.
Bye, Dad.
Bye.
Good night. So I couldn't find anything that I think is...
Oh, is this what you were talking about in the car? Yet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I kind of started telling Soraya about these ghost stories already, and I think they're stupid. I don't know if they're real.
This is just for fun, like spooky
This is for
stories.
funsies because, like I said, this isn't a typical case that we'll probably do.
Mhm.
But I just thought it was...
It's our podcast, so we do what we want.
It's gruesome, and I wanted to talk about it and learn more about it. So I figured if I'm already fucking looking it up, then you fuckers can listen to it.
She's angry.
I'm
She's an
angry.
angry elf.
Like I said, these buildings are now being used in the College of Staten Island. So just like a couple anecdotes here. This blog says, growing up on Staten Island, everyone always heard the stories of Satanists chasing and killing people in the woods surrounding Willowbrook.
Oh, good.
I have also heard stories of people being pushed, yelled at, and shadowy figures chasing people from the buildings. A story told to me was a dark figure following someone to their house, and the person watched it from their window as the thing stood in front of their house until the sun came up.
I don't like that at all. I like nothing about that.
No.
I'm trying to like halfway black out, so I don't remember this.
So who's the ghost?
It's that guy.
No,
he's living.
Andre?
Yeah, Andre's
He is
living.
not there. Okay. Now, this is the one I was talking about in the car that was kind of stupid, and I don't know if it's real. So this is an article from The Banner, which is the official newspaper of the College of Staten Island.
Oh, good.
Okay, this was published... I am so fucking dumb. I'm so dumb.
Why?
I'm literally so dumb. I was about to tell you this ghost story, and in the back of my head I said this can't be real, but it literally just occurred to me this story was published April 1st of 2018. It's fucking April Fool's. They got me. Okay,
Surprise.
because look at these images. They don't even look real.
No.
I'll post it. We can post it on our Instagram so you guys can see, but it says real ghosts caught on our security cameras, and they don't look real.
No.
It's not scary. They're obviously doctored or something. Literally one of them is wearing a sheet. Get off my dick. So, okay, but we're going to read the story just because it's hilarious.
Just for funsies.
So this is from thebannercsi.com. Again, April 1st, 2018. Have you ever felt a chilling feeling while walking on the campus at night, or feel like someone or something was watching and following you? It is no secret that CSI is said to be haunted, and here's the proof.
Ooh, they got proof.
They got the receipts for this one. Along with photos taken from security cameras, several staff and students have come forward with their supernatural experiences. I work the night shift and have seen and heard some creepy things myself, says James Grosswiener, a custodial staff member.
That's his real name.
It gets better. We have one hallway that I refuse to go down unless someone is with me. Our campus has a dark past containing heinous crimes of torture and neglect. It is no wonder our spirits linger on the grounds, unable to move on. Now we're talking about a new person. I work in the admin building on Saturdays, and I'm a bit nervous because I work there alone for a couple hours, said Diane D-Bag.
Shelby, this is making so much more sense. Of course it's a joke. Look at these names.
I know. That's why when I was looking at it at first, I was like, this can't be a real story.
This is odd.
Her last name is D-Bag.
Oh, this just proves how dumb we are.
Yeah, and then it's just literally now clicking that this is an April Fool's joke. They really did get me. They really did get me. That's pretty much it for this article. It goes into talking about Andre Rand.
We're like, that's enough.
That's enough of that.
That is enough.
That's enough of that. But, man, I was really looking forward to, reading you some ghost stories, but really I just got
You did get
by the College of Staten Island.
Oh, boy.
Jesus Christ.
Well, like Shelby said, most of our episodes will not be like this.
Right.
This is just kind of like a personal interest, and she's like, we got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
YOLO. So,
YOLO.
Yeah, we'll do more, crime, spooky, more focused, I guess.
Definitely.
I mean, this was, yeah.
Yeah, this one is a creepy, disturbing one. It's obviously not scary, but...
Mm-hmm. Just something, yeah, we wanted to talk about.
Just something
It doesn't sit well.
that doesn't sit well, with you and...
Like you said, scary in terms of the government, and we need to make a change, basically.
We need to make a change.
Yeah. So thanks so much for listening, guys, to our second episode. I feel like this one we were a lot more relaxed, not as nervous.
Yeah.
For sure.
I agree. We remembered to say our names this time. So that's something.
Yeah. If you want to follow us or check us out anywhere else, we're going to have all of our socials in the description below so you know where to find us.
Yeah, and if you want to shoot us an email at thisgavemenightmares@gmail.com, let us know if you have any scary stories that you want to share with us, or if you have any feedback for us. We always want to get better.
Yeah, leave a review.
leave a review and any case suggestions that you might have.
Yeah.
We would appreciate that.
Yeah. And I think Shelby's going to give us a juicy little hint for next episode.
So next episode is going to be a murder-suicide involving someone in the Playboy Mansion.
Cute.
So
Can't wait to hear about
that'll
it.
be fun. I'm really excited to do that one.
Awesome. Well, I think that wraps it up.
Thanks for listening.
We'll see you guys next time.
Sweet dreams.
Bye. Oh my god. Okay, pizza's ready.
Okay, sorry. Bye. We have to go and eat our pizza now.